Hi guys, before we begin this video officially, there's two things I want to talk about, briefly. One being in my previous video. Well, the other day after I uploaded it, I got to watching it again, and I realized I said and stuff like that way too much in that video. I don't know if this is something I do in a lot of my other videos, but holy cow, that was so... it was... even I realized how distracting that was. I guess it's just because, like, it's kind of a habit for me to do that. And it's something I know I need to try. I know I need to break and stop doing so much. But, yeah, I guess I guess I gotta get back to working on that again, like I did for a while. So I guess, yeah, I'm sure one or two or so will slip out, but I'll try not to say that all the time though. And point number two is this will probably be my last DVD update for probably some time, because yesterday I decided there's something I want to start saving my Amazon gift cards for, because I get Amazon gift cards every so often, essentially for free. Not really free, but let's just say the gift cards, I don't lose any money on. Let's just put it like that. And, well, there's something I want to buy, and it's pretty expensive, and there's a glare hitting my head, I know, but the item I want to buy is pretty expensive. Guess better. And well, it's probably, I'm not going to save up for it entirely by the way I get the gift cards, but it's just going to be a while before I do another DVD update again, I'm sure, maybe, unless I change my mind again. Anyway, that's that. I'll get to the DVD update officially. I guess the first movie I'll do is the one I was supposed to include in my previous update, but I didn't check the mail until after I uploaded the video, my previous update. This is the movie I had waited on for 2.5 weeks, and the day I decided to go ahead and stop waiting and do the video and upload it, I checked the mail and there it was. I was so mad. Just because I'd waited that long, the very day I decided not to, and yeah, you know how it goes. Anyway, my first movie is a John Hughes movie, and that is Career Opportunities, which stars Frank Whaley and Jennifer Connelly. It came out in 1991, and basically it's about this guy played by Frank Whaley named Jim, who he's pretty much I'm not really sure how to describe it, but he pretty much exaggerates and lies about everything. Not to be mean, but basically just kind of like a self-esteem building kind of lying, like he's like a secret agent, or he invented this or that, or just a lot of things that he didn't really do, but makes himself seem important and everything. And they don't really well. I was going to say they don't say so in so many words, but I think they kind of do say he does. Not by the official name, but I'm pretty sure he has monophobia, which is the fear of being alone. And and ironically, he gets fired from his job at the beginning of the movie, and he has to get a job working as a janitor at the local Target. And basically that night he ends up having to work. He finds out he has to stay alone in the store after hours until 7 the next morning and clean up the entire store. And Jennifer Connelly's character is named Josie, and she's the daughter of the town's wealthiest man, who made millions of dollars off real estate and everything. And true to how John Hughes does, she pretty much resents her father and everything. And essentially, she was gonna she was to be shoplifting from the Target and purposely getting caught just to embarrass her father. However, she ends up backing out of the idea and ends up falling asleep in one of the dressing rooms or whatever, and she and Frank end up being locked in the store all night, getting to know each other, and just random stuff happening, like having to deal with these two criminals who break into the store and everything. It's a pretty straightforward comedy. One thing not long after I got this movie, one thing I kind of laughed at when I realized about the cover is if you look at Frank or Jim, he's underneath Jennifer Connelly, and if you just glance at the cover, you may think, oh, he's looking up at her, smiling and grinning, like, okay, who wouldn't? It's Jennifer Connelly. She's pretty. But actually, I don't know, maybe this was intended. I don't know, but if you actually follow his eyes, he's actually not staring at her. Yeah, he's actually staring at her chest. Let's just say that. Obviously. I just thought that was kind of funny. I mean, like I said, maybe that was intended. I don't know. But, oh, yeah. It's kind of sad, though, because not long after I got this, I found an article from the New York Times that they did back in 1991. And basically, it was talking about John Hughes specifically, it was talking about John Hughes, and basically one of the things they brought up this movie, and I think it's kind of sad because apparently John Hughes hated this movie. I mean, he just hated this movie with all his heart. He actually said the article quoted him as saying how he thought this movie was just cheap and vulgar, and that he actually tried to get his name removed completely from this movie. He did not want to be associated with it whatsoever. Which I think is sad because, honestly, I mean, I actually think this is a pretty enjoyable movie. It's pretty decent. And honestly, if you really want to know the truth, I may get some angry comments for this, but I think this was one of the final two good movies he did. I really consider this to be one of the final good movies he did. Because Home Alone 2 came out a year after this, so it's just kind of, I think it's kind of crazy looking at his career that the same man in 1985 who was responsible for The Breakfast Club, 9 years later was responsible for the movie Baby's Day Out, for example. I mean, it's just like, what happened to him? I mean, let's just be honest. It was not a great movie at all. It wasn't that good, Baby's Day Out. I mean, it was all right. I mean, it wasn't like the kind of movies you would expect from John Hughes. But the thing is about this movie too, with that is like I could easily have seen this movie being done in the late '80s. It just kind of has that '80s touch to it, that John Hughes '80s touch to it. But that's just me though. And finally, and the second movie, rather, I should say, is one that if someone ever asks me to show them an example of a cult classic or a cult film, this is the movie I'm going to show them, because this is very much the definition of a cult movie. One that I don't think a lot of people have ever actually even heard of, which to me is kind of surprising how obscure this movie, how little talked about and obscure this movie is, considering how many well-known people are in it. And that is the movie I'm talking about is Freaked. That's a slipcover, and this is the actual case right here, which I actually like. I actually really like the way they did the case, and that is, here's the actual case to it. I don't know if you can really see it that well. That's the back of it. But yeah, pretty much it stars people like Alex Winter, Randy Quaid, Megan Ward, Mr. T, Brooke Shields, people like that. It has cameos by like Morgan Fairchild. Just a lot of pretty well-known people. It was basically directed by Alex Winter. I think it was written by him as well, but it also has a cameo by Keanu Reeves as well. But yeah, pretty much. I mean, I actually bought this not too long ago on Amazon. And I had not seen this movie in like 17 years when I bought it. The first and only time prior to that I had ever seen it was on TV. It was in 1994, I believe, and it was on. I remember it airing on HBO when I saw it, and it's just something about the movie it burned itself in my memory. It's one of those movies that even over the next 17 years, I would always randomly start thinking about. And so I actually looked it up on Amazon one day, and it was actually on there. So the thing is, this movie, you're probably better off buying this movie used than new, because this movie actually runs quite a bit expensive new. Like when I bought it, I think the highest price on it was like $53 new. So you're talking like this one movie new was worth like what some seasons of TV shows cost. So you're probably just better off buying this used, because used I think it was like considerably cheaper. But basically what this is about, it's kind of hard to explain, but Alex Winter plays a former child star who now has decided to represent this fertilizer that's said to be very toxic. It's called like Zygote 24, I think. Zygote 24 rather. And basically he has to go down to South America to do something for the company, which is called EES, Everything But Shoes. And by the way, let me go ahead and mention that this movie is very, very off the wall and just random humor. It's very, very random and quirky and everything. But basically, he goes down to South America, and him and his best friend, and they end up meeting up with this activist who's protesting the chemical, and pretty much they end up tricking her, and they end up traveling together, and along the way they end up going to this freak show, or she wants to go see it, and essentially and the man who runs it is a man called Skuggs, who's played by Randy Quaid, and he's the owner and operator of the freak show. And it turns out, however, that he actually uses the Zygote 24 to turn normal people into freaks. And essentially he takes them hostage and turns them into freaks themselves. The activist, which I can never remember her name, and and Ricky's best friend, he turns them into like this half man, half woman thing, and Ricky gets turned into like this half gremlin looking thing. And I actually never realized this, but he actually even makes a joke referencing gremlins, like Alex Winter's character. Anyway, and after that, they end up like meeting all the other people who had been turned into freaks and everything. And who are led by a man who has been turned into like this dog. This word for I can't think of the word, but it's turned into like a dog, a humanoid dog, and it's played by that character is played by Keanu Reeves, but you can't really tell at first it's him, because even at that he's uncredited. But there's one point in one of his few scenes that he kind of loses his accent or his disguise as his voice disguise, I should say, and you could so tell it's him. But yeah, it's a pretty random movie. I love this movie. But yeah, I'm gonna start. Okay, that's enough babbling for me, I guess. But yeah, you can actually see this movie on YouTube. I think somebody actually has uploaded this, so go check it out if you want to. That's really about everything, I think. So anyway, thanks for watching, and that's my DVD update. So see you guys next time.